Voting has now officially been completed and that the manual counting is about to begin. Is this what's happening there? Is that the latest?
Indeed, that is what is happening, Leanne. The voting has been completed. As you know, it started after midnight last night. There were just over 4,150 delegates who had to cast their ballots. In the beginning, much enthusiasm, lots of energy, so long queues out of the area where the voting was being held. And then towards the end, after 5 o'clock, people in smaller numbers coming through, just going through the process as well. The normal electoral process that we go through when we vote in the elections, verification, then the inking of the finger to ensure that you don't come back and vote twice, get your ballot paper, get ticked off, and then, of course, make your mark where you were going to make your mark. This is now speaking for the candidates who were there. 5 positions that were contested, as you know, for the President, Deputy President, Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General, and that, in fact, not Deputy Secretary General, that of the Treasurer General as well. The one for Deputy Secretary General, Jessie Duarte, that one was not contested. As you know, Thandi Modise withdrew her candidature yesterday afternoon. Now we're standing next to the literature. This one of the books that are being sold here, Frank Chikane, 8 Days in September. Some of the literature, All My Life and All My Strength, Roy Alexandra Simons. And this young man is the merchant here. How has the sales been going? Are you happy with the way people have been buying your book?
Yeah, I'm so happy because of some of them that are going, but none of this book is going so far because of they're criticizing this book.
Oh, this one is not going at all? Yeah. How many copies did you buy of it?
No, now I'm still having a lot of copies, but now there's still so far many. None have exported since I arrived here.
Okay, and you've got a speed point, I see, as well, so making it easy for people to buy.
Yeah, because of if you don't have cash here, there's no need to get something, because if you run away, you won't gonna get this stuff anymore.
No need to worry. I see you've got videos as well. One talking about the Bush War, 26-part documentary series, powerful revelation of a secret war, the South African Bush War. How has business gone? Are you happy with the sales that you've achieved?
Yeah, now I'm so very happy now. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Just one last look at some of the literature. Nelson Mandela, The Struggle is My Life. That's one of them. And the ANC, A View from Moscow. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just walk across. So on this side, it's literature. And on the other side, there is fashion. Now, the fashion here has been very, very pronounced, I must tell you. It's been looking funky. Look, there's bags as well. What can I tell you? Look at the T-shirts, I'm telling you. Unity in diversity. There's white, there's yellow, there's black, there's green. I'm going to try out a cap here. I hope I'm not compelled to buy this cap, but this is the kind of stuff that we've been seeing. So that we can just talk a little bit quickly. You can see there was also preparation so that if it is very cold, the delegates could get your bomber jackets and that kind of stuff. This is your stand here.
Yeah, this is my stand.
Oh, that one is your stand. You are selling watches and other things as well.
Yes.
How has business been?
It has been very good since we started.
When did you start?
On Saturday.
Okay, so how much stock did you bring? Did you count the stock in terms of money? You got stock of, say, what, 30,000 and you are here with it and that kind of thing?
Yes, it was more than 30,000 that we have counted.
Okay, and you've recovered all your money?
Yes, so far.
Yeah, and you've banked your money. You are happy.
I'm very much happy.
Fantastic. Where are you from? Before you go, where are you from?
We are from Johannesburg.
You came from Joburg.
Yes,
and where did you stock your stuff?
So we've got Mr. Mutingo here,
Yeah.
who I'm working for him.
Yeah.
He's the one that is manufacturing. He's got a building, yes.
Oh, he's got a manufacturing business,
Yes,
Mr. Mutingo. Okay, Mutingo, marketing consultant, Sydney. Who's it, bro, Sydney? Okay, so where do you manufacture from?
I manufacture from Johannesburg.
Okay, what do you manufacture?
Manufacture all corporate school uniforms for the unions and whoever needs uniforms.
And are you happy with business?
Yes, I'm not complaining. It has gone on well. And I think if given more chance, all the SMMEs have benefited and been given chance.
So how did you get here as an SMME? Did you have to apply from somebody to somebody?
I've been serving them for the last 18 years, and then when we did this, it was just to be accredited to be here, attend the conference.
Okay. All right, so this one is not made anywhere else. It's made in South Africa.
Proudly South Africa. All whatever you see here, it's proudly South African by South Africans. We empower all the small business people and give them more skills and capacity. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to walk to the back there, and Sipho, I'm going to talk to you now. I just want to showcase this leather jacket. You may know this leather jacket. It was worn by the president at one of the ANC events. You remember it? So this is what also has been for sale. Sisi, has it moved quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, let's speak quickly to Sipho Siepe. Sipho, entrepreneurs happy, the stands here looking good, eh?
No, actually, yes. I mean, what it also shows is that they can anticipate the level of support that the ANC gets and the interest it has shown, and they exploit the space. And this is what you call entrepreneurial, seeing an opportunity and seizing it. Yeah. And I think on the whole, they've been very happy. And of course, the mood here has been buoyant. And when people are very happy, they're also willing to spend some money. I was talking to some people from Eastern Cape who think that they've managed to get their trophy, and you could see that they have been generous because there's been hard work for them to make sure that they actually register their own intentions and interest, and they think the haul yesterday was indicative of all the hard work that they've actually done.
Okay, so you heard about the voting, of course, after the nomination process was closed, voting starting around midnight, continuing until 5 in the morning. In fact, it was continuing around 7, said Jackson Mthembu. What are your thoughts? What have you heard?
Well, I mean, part of the challenge that the ANC was faced with is the distrust of using machines, to count. So the whole notion of manual counting is the one that is a problem. But also, one must also remember that after the nominations, the commission then went to print the ballots. If nominations were known before, it would have been much easier. But I do think that by the end of today, we'll know the result of the top 6.
Okay, let's start at the top. President Zuma, Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe, that was a well-known game plan anyway.
Well, I mean, there's no contest. I mean, it is very clear that Jacob Zuma is going to get a position, and I think what we are looking at is the margin. But also, I still want to say that we must celebrate the fact that there's a contest, because it does normalize the fact that people can express their ambition to serve, and it should not be seen in a negative light.
Would it enhance the contest if we could hear from the candidates themselves saying, well, I could be a good president of the party for the following reasons? Other candidates saying, I could be a good president for the following reasons. Would that enrich the process?
Oh, no, definitely. It will also enrich sophisticate our own understanding of democracy. At the moment, unfortunately, you have people whose views you do not know where they stand. And it demeans and it weakens the level of sophistication among our people. I think what we need to do is to get to a situation where we normalize ambition, where a person says, I'm ambitious to serve, and these are the skills, these are the values.
Why is the ANC not getting there, though?
Well, remember, this is the second contestation that it has had. The first contestation that the ANC has was in Polokwane. So things don't move as quickly as we would like to, but I think we're getting there. We've seen even before the conference, people like Tokyo had already declared their intention to stand, Matthew Posa, and as well as Mashatile. And that is actually good for democracy, to say, I'm ambitious and I want to serve. But
do you expect that will happen in the next 5 years or not?
I think it did happen in 2007. People have actually forgotten that Jacob Zuma declared much earlier, even during the policy conference, that he is going to contest. I think what happens is that people start behaving in a particular way, then the organization follows by changing the rules. The rules don't change immediately. They change because the movement and the changes are such that you cannot ignore them. And what you do, you begin to normalize them.
Yeah. The deputy presidency position, Cyril Ramaphosa, it sounds very much like he's a shoe-in.
No, definitely. I mean, but what is also interesting is that if you were to read what was said about Cyril just after Marikana, there were many people who were saying he's actually finished. But what it also shows is that the people are far so sophisticated. They are not going to look at an incident that is also misunderstood to define a person. What they do, they look at the totality of experience of a person for a number of years.
But how is the slate constituted? Is it constituted by the people, or is it constituted by the ones organizing within, and then they take that slate to the people and then motivate? Is there even motivation to say, on the slate, this candidate is a good candidate for this reason. On that slate, this candidate is a good candidate for this reason.
No, definitely. There's a lot of motivation. And and there's a lot of lobbying. I mean, those who pretend that there's no lobbying, they're actually deluding themselves. As early as last year, the process already had started on the ground.
Even though the ANC was saying, no, don't open the process.
Yeah, no,
keep quiet, hang on, wait, don't open this process.
There's pronouncements and there's practice, and those two are two different things. But in the long run, practice will ultimately win. And I think the ANC must actually be informed by the fact that we are under different conditions now. These are conditions of democracy where people campaign, and if they campaign, it will enrich the debate within the ANC. It will also expose the weaknesses, because if you look at the Kgalema Motlanthe, because he had not declared himself, people have not raised concerns around him. But with Jacob Zuma, because it was known that he had shown interest of going for the second term.
He never declared, though. Did he declare?
No, he did say he would be available if he's nominated. But that was a very clear expression that I want this position. And almost, what you do, you also look at people's behavior. And every behavior suggested that these are the people who are interested in the position.
Okay. So, Secretary General, Gwede Mantashe Fikile Mbalula.
Well, Gwede has an advantage. I mean, he's the Secretary General of the ANC. His job is also to strengthen the branches. So, effectively, he was more closer to the branches than somebody who is a minister. So, and Fikile is a very flamboyant, but he's not located there at the moment. And I think one would have said that giving him a position as a minister is a very strategic move to make sure that he does not have all the time to be able to campaign. So the incumbents always have a better chance of winning.
Treasurer, Paul Mashatile Zwelimkhize?
Well, I don't think there's a contest there. I mean, if one were to look at the people's response, and I think we must also respect the notion of trends, because you cannot have a particular trend that shows a particular support and at the end you have surprises, because then it nullifies the integrity of the process. So from reading the trend, it is very clear that the Zwelimkhize is going to get it.
Okay, I suppose the next big question that we move towards is, should what you are saying be confirmed, what then does a second Jacob Zuma term mean for the Republic of South Africa, growth, and where we are going as a country?
Well, I think the ANC has put its policies on the table. He's very clear about that the next stage is a second phase. The concentration will be more on a better life for all. I mean, the concentration has been more on putting the political institutions to support democracy. And we've had elections, but our people still find themselves being almost defined by poverty, unemployment, challenged by health and all that. So effectively, the conditions have defined what the ANC must do. And if you listen to the president's speech, he had indicated that they have done a number of reviews to say we are going to concentrate on manufacturing, we are going to look at the SOEs, we are going to look at mining, we are going to look at the number of issues.
Can the ANC do it?
Well, that is an issue that becomes a major concern, the issue of capacity and capability. And I think the ANC must reach out also beyond itself, to say if we are going to define ourselves as a parliament of the people, make sure that you use every resource wherever you can find it to assist you in your program, because the success of the ANC, of the country, also means the success of the ANC.
Go back to before the conference started, and also with the organizational report by the Secretary General, Gwede Mantashe, the ANC under attack, the ANC under siege. There's been very much an inward-looking ANC, and at some level feeling besieged somewhat. Can that now turn around, be outward looking and focus on the stuff that you're talking about?
Well, I think they had to look at themselves first, and I think they've shown a certain degree of confidence. When they begin to say we have a problem, then you know that the problem can be addressed. But when there's a tendency to ignore a problem, then you know that there's a inability and unwillingness to solve that problem. But what we also think, I've seen that in the last few months, Gwede Mantashe has been trying to have what they call social dialogue, more to say, let us engage society. But what you also have is that it goes both ways. Society must also be willing to engage the ANC. What we tend to do is that there are some of us who belong to institutions, and when the ANC put policies on the table, we ignore them. And after the ANC has gone, then we go somewhere there and we think we can come up with something better. Whereas whatever we come up with, it becomes irrelevant. What we must participate is to influence the direction that the ANC must take, because ultimately it's going to be the governing party and we are going to be affected. If the policies of the ANC are ludicrous. They are going to affect us negatively. So it is a question about making sure that you engage in actions that will lead to a change. A meaningful engagement with the ANC is probably the best way that we can shape the direction of this country.
All right, let's leave it at that. Sipo, thank you very much. Yes. Sipo Siepe is a political analyst. Let's continue talking to entrepreneurs and the business people. May I ask you to step off the cable, if you will? Thank you very much. So you saw the colors we were talking about there. There was white, yellow, and so on. So here, it becomes all red, as you can see there. And yesterday I was making a conversation about where is the stuff manufactured. We met a South African manufacturer. There's no labeling here, so we can't speculate about where the stuff was manufactured. There's also former Bafana Bafana shirts. You see, Bafana Bafana also represented here at the ANC conference. Are you the trader here? Okay, may I ask you to come to the front here so that you can just talk to us quickly about how the trading has gone. A bit of color blocking, as you can see, the shoelace is blue on this side here, and the other shoelace is black, and the pants are green, and then the belt is orange. It's all colorful, it's bright and lovely. What's your name?
Jabulo Shangas.
Jabulo. Okay, Jabulo. So you came here with your stock. Where did you come from?
I come from Durban, all the way from Durban.
And how's the business gone?
It's fun.
Is
it's
it
doing
fine?
well. Doing very well. The
Doing very well.
The delegates are really supporting us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how much stock did you bring here?
It's a lot because a lot of money goes into the stuff, so
Yeah.
I can't really tell because it's quite a lot, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you bring like 1,000 t-shirts, more than 1,000? How many did you bring?
1,500, 500s and maybe 800s.
Yeah.
It depends what is in demand.
Okay.
So the more the t-shirts are in demand, the more we order them. And
Okay.
yes.
All right. And you, your own style, color blocking and what?
Yeah, color blocking, as you can see.
All right, Njabulo. Just looking at fashion and the trends, one of the things I have found to be quite fascinating have been the dresses. In fact, let me take this opportunity and just show you this hat with this lady. Look the other way. You know, people are fashionable. Tell us about your hat.
Isigqoko sami ngithabile ngiqhamuka KZN
Yeah.
isigqoko ngizenzela mina.
Okay. Did you make the logo yourself?
Yes,
With
ngizenzele
what?
mina.
What material?
No, this is a net. I bought a net and this.
The flower detail, yes.
Yes. Ngizenzele mina ngiyathunga. Ngiyathunga namarogo, amabhayi, everything. I suppose ANC ngithi phambili nozuma phambili.
Okay, so you brought your stock
Yes,
as well
these are
here.
hats, yes.
Oh, the hats.
Yes.
Can I open? Is it okay? Is it the same one as you are wearing? Okay, nobody wants to help you. Let me help you with your plastic. Okay, so she does the stuff herself. There we go. Let's show you fashion here. You see, how much does this one sell for?
This is 2,000. This one, the big one.
Yeah.
And le E15.
Okay. Okay, so this sells for 2,000 rand. You've got a machine like that, man, as well, or do you take only cash? Okay,
No,
hold
I
on to
take
this one.
cash. I don't have a machine.
Just COD.
It's the first time. I didn't know this. Yes.
Okay, so this one is 1.5.
1.3, this one.
1.3, okay. All right, how do you put it on? You put it on with an elastic or something? Oh, you put it on with that thing there. Okay, quite interesting. Very fashionable. Thank you very much. Good luck with the hats. There's your hat for 2,000 rand here at the ANC conference. Okay, I've seen these as well. These sort of cowboy hats, but I've seen them worn in white in the main. I haven't seen them in the other colors. And then, of course, the speed point is here to make sure that transactions are processed expeditiously. I was still telling you about the dresses. The fashion here has been very interesting. Look at these dresses, the expression, the material. I think this looks a little bit like linen. The fashion has been quite interesting. People have found interesting ways to express. And then this has been a popular merchandise as well. Quite a few guys have been wearing this. And there's another dress for you. Very colorful. Very interesting, some of the materials that I've used. Now, I just keep hoping that nobody asks me to pay for the stuff that I've been wearing because the budget is limited. Here's another interesting one. Okay, so you see the fashion has been quite interesting. Which one do you like for me? This one? Or this one? Which one do you like for me? Or which one should I go with? Should I go with this one? Okay. Some of the material that's been here, skirts as well. very interesting designs that have come through, that have been placed here. So it's been very nice. Well, thank you very much for the merchants allowing us to use their material. What are we going to do now? We're going to take a break. Let's return you now to the studio in Johannesburg. We take a break. We continue with our broadcast after this. Stay with us.
Long live the liberation movement. Long live. From the past law protests, the Defiance campaign, the armed struggle against apartheid, the Rivonia trials and Sharpeville massacre, many thousands of freedom fighters made the ultimate sacrifice. Long live a united, non-racial and non-sexist nation. Long live. Witness this historic moment in our history with your proud public broadcaster, the SABC.
The 53rd ANC Conference, live from Mangaung on SABC TV and radio from the 16th of December.
Hierdie week in voetspore vaar ons die woestyn in. Ons probleem is brandstof. Dit is spotgoedkoop.
To come out of there, if you've just tuned in, polls have closed. Counting is now underway in the crunch ANC elections at Mangaung. Voting only got underway in the early hours of this morning, as we have been reporting. Some delegates in Mangaung have been celebrating all night what they say is President Jacob Zuma's likely re-election as the party president. Zuma is challenged by his deputy, Kgalema Motlanthe, for the leadership of the ruling party. The results for the top 6 positions are to be announced later on today. Some are saying after 12 o'clock, but we'll see on that one. Vuyo is there. He's been giving us a fashion report of late, just showing us all the latest fashions that are on sale there. Vuyo, what else is happening behind the scenes at Mangaung?
Well, you know, Leanne, there's been so much focus on the personalities and candidates and nominations and nominees and candidature, and whether it's continuity or whether it's a renewal or whether it's a question of getting a new leadership in and so on. Yet this is the conference also that has to adopt key policies that the ANC and the ANC in government is going to drive. Now, Dinyiko Maluleka as well as Somadoda Fikeni are here to help us just unpack some of the policy issues and policy considerations that will occupy the time of the delegates over the next couple of days. Dinyiko, what are some of the key policy considerations that are going to come up, that are part of the conversations in commissions as we speak?
Well, I think all the policies that deal with economic cluster issues, that is your government-owned enterprises, state-owned enterprises, I think that's what they are called, mineral resources, that is definitely a serious policy issue. Nationalization may not be on the lips of everyone, but there is an issue there, which I think this conference people will be expecting to hear something concrete come. Land issue.
So it's state-owned enterprises, economy, the economy is, I mean, essentially that's what you're saying. But what about this economy? Because, Somadoda, if you look at, for instance, the JSE, the all share over the past 5 years has risen from sort of 29,000 points. It's sitting 10,000 points higher at 38,000 points. Yet, on the other side, unemployment is on the rise. So there are some who are benefiting in this economy, and there are others who are not seeing any kind of benefit. How, in terms of these ANC policies that are being discussed and conversed about, how is the ANC going to unlock opportunities for the millions who are not accessing the beauty and the benefits of this economy?
Actually, that's precisely the point, because what is clear now is that anything that had been done by the ANC doesn't seem to be yielding results in terms of employment and in terms of removing the legacy of colonialism and apartheid on a larger scale. In the June conference, the issue of saying how do we revisit the issue of beneficiation, how do we revisit the black economic empowerment in a manner that begin to broaden the empowerment rather than focus on those few politically connected individuals. That's the key thing. But again, another point I wanted to add here is that the national plan that was presented is also under a microscope for endorsement in this particular policy conference.
Does it enjoy support within the broader structures of the ANC?
It has some significant support, but some do have reservation to say it's more technocratic, doesn't spell out the ideological link between the Freedom Charter and the current economic situation. So to that extent, and some of them, of course, are drawing in the personalities like Trevor Manuel and Cyril Ramaphosa, the chairperson and deputy chairperson, and their links to big business. And they are questioning whether the document itself will bring the national democratic revolution or the radical shift that they were looking for. But at the same time, it's very important that the ANC comes out of this conference having clearly pronounced its position on the National Planning Commission's work.
The expectations, are they high in terms of conference and what it can do to enable government, to empower government going forward, to address poverty, inequality, unemployment?
Well, I think expectations are very high. You know, the whole country, I mean, we talk about the 4,500 who are here, the delegates, but there's 48 million out there of South African citizens whose very hopes and lives hang on the decisions that will be taken here. So what happens in this conference is the impact of it on the country. I mean, everybody is very much aware of that, and they expect to see the changes. I mean, the triple problems that we hear about. And the reports that were received here, even the policy documents, are very clear on what the problem is.
And we've been clear about this for a long time. Thabo Mbeki characterized it as a two economies, pushing back the frontiers of poverty. In the current Zuma administration, it's unemployment and so on. Even President Zuma, during the start of his tenure, he did say job creation, rural development and those kinds of things. Is conference deliberating aggressively enough and formulating in a smart way some of the things that have to be done to address those challenges?
It's like going to the doctor who tells you you've got flu. You've got flu. You know you've got flu. The question is, what needs to be done? You know,
you are not taking this antibiotic.
You need the medicine is where we ought to go now, so that we come up with solutions to these problems.
Do we understand the medicine?
Well, I do think that we may understand the medicine, but we lack the courage of conviction to implement some of those taking of the prescription. If you look at the turnover of policies, the RDP policy, the GEAR, GIPSA, ASGISA, New Growth Path, the new industrial plan, and now the national plan. If you have this turnover of policies without consistency and also the state capacity, but key is the courage of leaders to implement the policies which are there.
The way you rattle them off, you're making me feel like at the level of policy formulation, you can't fault this country. We can formulate policies and acronyms, but where are the outcomes?
That's where the challenge is, because the policies that we have implemented, one, half-heartedly. Secondly, no coordination. One department is doing its own thing, the national government, the provincial, the local government, even the district, municipality and local tend to talk of an integrated plan on paper, but there is no integration.
There's no working together in that way. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I must thank you, and I must compliment you on your strength. I got to a point where I had to take off my jacket. You've stayed on with your jacket for the last 2 hours. This kitchen has not been too hot for you.
I represent my jacket, so I have to keep my jacket on.
I represent my jacket. That's a new formulation for you. Okay, that's it from us. What we're going to do, there's a clip of the candidate running for the Secretary General's position, and we want to just show you this particular clip and see what the candidate did say. From us, we'll see you again tomorrow. You must have a fantastic day. Mintero ya bola bola. Itabla mzuko. Maitabasa. Take a look at this.
Of those who win. But the ANC belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to anyone who wins the conference. Win or lose, one thing that can never be taken away from you is your membership. So if you've got an inferiority complex and a political complex, so to say, about standing, you will think that the question of standing and losing is a do or die. It is unfortunate that other people define it like that, but for me personally, who's involved in the process, I still understand that the sun will rise from the east tomorrow morning, and nothing will have actually changed.
All right, it's 9:15 here on Morning Live, and this is the SABC's coverage of what's happening in Bloemfontein, in Mangaung, things that happened overnight, and of course this morning now. It seems that there's absolutely no rest. We heard Jackson and Tembo saying that he had a half an hour's sleep last night, so one would think that rather don't close your eyes for a half an hour. I think sometimes it makes you feel worse. But with all that's happening and so much hanging in the balance, I'm sure that sleep is not something that's crucial at this point at voting for the future of the ruling party here in South Africa. Well, let's just talk you through the process again and show you who is on the nomination list. It's been a very long haul with different branches forwarding the names of the nominees of their choice for the top 6 positions. And the president, the deputy president, national chairperson, secretary general, deputy secretary general, and the treasurer general. Those are the top 6 positions. The ballots have now been cast. They have been handed in. It's now closed, and the manual counting has begun. Let's take a look at who is in the running for these positions. All right, he's standing for the 2nd ANC presidency. And we're talking about Kgalema Motlanthe standing in as president of the ANC. And he is currently the president the Deputy President of South Africa, and he, of course, objected and said he didn't want the nomination to go for Deputy President, and he would rather just take on the top position. So that's what Kgalema Motlanthe is doing, standing against the now President, Jacob Zuma. Gwedi Mantashe, also the current ANC Secretary General, has been nominated to retain his current position. Another nominee, Baleka Mbete, also nominated to retain her position as the national chairperson. Thandi Modise is the Premier of the Northwest Province in South Africa and is also nominated for the position of the national chair. So it's those two that have been nominated in that position. Also running for Deputy President is Matthews Phosa, nominated for this position. Another nominee for the position of Deputy President is Cyril Ramaphosa, also receiving nominations for Deputy President and availing himself for the position. And there is also Tokyo Sexwale. He is nominated as well there for Deputy President. And now we've got KwaZulu-Natal born Dr. Zweli Mkhize is nominated as Treasurer General. Jesse Duarte has been nominated to take over the position of Deputy Secretary General. That is an uncontested position, so it's the one position that we can call at this time that she has taken that, and that is she's going to be, the Deputy Secretary General. There is nobody up against her, so that is a straightforward position there. All right, what we're going to do today is, just for the next couple of minutes, take a look at some of the highlights from yesterday. And here we have. Take a look at the first set.
Starting from the position of the President, from the nominations received from branches, we have 2 candidates at this stage. And by alphabetical order, the first candidate for the position of the President is Motlanthe Kgalema. The second candidate for the position of President is Zuma Jacob. As indicated, at this stage, if any of the 2 candidates have reconsidered their nomination and would like to withdraw, they can do so now. If there's none, we proceed.
All right, a picture of the 2 people that are going for the presidency of the ANC, Jacob Zuma, Kgalema Motlanthe, chatting to one another. And that was announced yesterday. This is how the whole procedure works. So it's nice to be able to see it. And let's now see when the announcement of the deputy president takes place. Here we go. These are the nominees.
We move on to the position of Deputy President. From the process conducted at branch and provincial level, we have received 5 candidates. From these candidates, we have had 1 candidate decline nomination, which leaves us with 4. We think it is important for the provinces that had nominated these candidates so that we can reflect, so they don't come back and say, what happened to the person who was nominated? With alphabetical order, the first candidate who was nominated, who has since declined the position of Deputy President, is Mbete Baleka. The remaining candidates, and in alphabetical order by surname, are as follows: Motlanthe Kgalema, Phosa Matthews, Ramaphosa Cyril, Sexwale Tokyo. Now, we're following the same procedure. at this stage, if any of these candidates have reconsidered their nomination and would like to stand down, it is an opportunity to do so. There's a hand. Oh. Okay. Can you confirm so that we can be able to recognize the name? Okay. We withdraw the name from, and that is the name of Kgalema Motlanthe.
All right. So that's what happened yesterday when it came to the deputy presidency. And there you saw that the now deputy president, Kgalema Motlanthe, withdrawing his name out of it. Those are the final ANC nominations. Matthews Posa, Cyril Ramaphosa, and Tokyo Sexwale. It was quite interesting yesterday. And I mean, I think everybody just assuming who is going to be taking those positions after you heard the cheers after the name was mentioned. And Cyril Ramaphosa getting the loudest cheer there. And when Jacob Zuma's name was announced, he got the loudest cheer. So it seems that the celebrations all began just on the cheering of what was happening in the room. Well, let's see what happens now when the nominees for the national chair is announced. Now, just to let you know who is making the announcements, it's Tubile Thomas. He is the electoral convener. So here's what happens with the national chair announcements.
We move to the next position, and that is that of the Secretary General. There are two names. There are two candidates for this position. And again, in alphabetical order, the first candidate is Mantashe Gwede. And the second candidate is Mbalula Fikile. And delegates, has any of the two candidates reconsidered their nomination and would like to withdraw? I cannot see any hands to that effect. Are there further nominations from the floor for the position of Secretary General? I cannot see any hands to that effect. And that conference concludes the nomination for the position of Secretary General.
All right, Secretary General wrapped up. Those are the candidates for that one. Now, the next position that we take a look at is the Deputy Secretary General. This one's quite an easy one because there is only one candidate, and this is Jessie Duarte. So it's confirmed that she is going to be the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. But let's look at how this was announced yesterday.
We move to the position of Deputy Secretary General. 5 candidates came out of the audit process and the provincial nomination process. And in alphabetical order, those candidates are Duarte Jessie, Mbalula Fikile, who has since declined nomination for this position, Modise Tandi, Ntinso Tenjiwe, who also has since declined nomination for this position, and Potgite Phoebe, who also has since declined nomination for this position. Has any of the remaining 2 candidates reconsidered their nomination and would like to withdraw? I see no indication. Okay. There's a hand there. Thank you. Can somebody from... Thank you. Go ahead.
I withdraw for the position of PSG.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, delegates. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. The nomination of Thandi Modise has been withdrawn. Are there at this stage any further nominations from the floor for the position of Deputy Secretary General? There are none. This concludes the nomination for this position.
All right, the next nomination that we're going to show you now was that of the position of the Treasurer General. Now, this was quite a surprise one because there were other nominees in this particular category. It was Public Service Minister Lindiwe Sisulu and Human Settlements Minister Tokyo Sekwale. Now, they withdrew their candidacy for the Treasurer General's position. And these are the candidates that are now standing. It's Paul Mashitile and it's William Kize. Let's have a look at what happened yesterday.
Position is that of the Treasurer General. We have received 4 candidates for this position, and one of the candidates has since declined. And by alphabetical order, the first name is that of Mashatile Paul. The second name is that of Mkize Zweli. And the third name is that of Sikhwale Tokyo. And the last candidate is that of Sisulu Lindiwe, who has since declined her nomination. Now, has any of the remaining candidates reconsidered their nomination and would like at this stage to withdraw? Can you get a mic to a candidate that side? Can we get a mic?
Chairperson, I can't count the money. I withdraw as treasurer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any of the remaining 2 candidates who have...
Oh, well, unfortunately, we have to cut out of that one. We're running out of time here. But I think you get the idea of how it all worked and who the nominees are. Those results from the voting expected after 12 o'clock today. It's been a pleasure being with you through this broadcast up until 9 o'clock. Remember, we are going until 9 o'clock until Friday. I think I've got Paul in studio. Are you going to say goodbye to us quickly?
Yeah, I will. Actually, you've seen this. I'll see you again on Thursday. Goodbye, guys. Enjoy your day.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Paulie. We'll see you then. Have a wonderful day. Everybody, God bless. Take care of yourselves. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early. Not early, early. Let's try that again. God bless. Sharp, sharp, everybody.